child psychology. We are truly honored to have such a committed group of parents and educators with us today as we dive into understanding the minds of our children. Today, we are fortunate to have Tejeshwar sir with us, an expert in the field of child psychology. His vast knowledge and practical insights will help us better understand the way our children think, behave, and emotionally develop. His work has empowered countless parents and teachers to connect more deeply with their children. And we are excited to learn from him today. This seminar is not just an opportunity to gain theoretical knowledge, but also to explore real-life solutions to help guide our children through their formative years. With this valuable guidance, we can create a supportive environment where our children can thrive emotionally, socially, and mentally. Thank you all for being here, and let's get ready to learn and grow together. Thank you. I would now like to call upon Sumana ma'am to introduce our speaker for the day. Thank you, Rina ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. I would now like to introduce our speaker for the day, Tejeshwar sir. Tejeshwar sir, a certified professional in the field of psychology and is allied discipline at global and national levels. He also holds numerous credentials under the domain of psychology. Ever since a decade, he has been an active contributor and a professional member at exceptional organizations, institutions, and industries. So, without further delay, let us give a warm welcome with a big round of applause to Tejeshwar sir. As he leads us through this enlightening sessions, we welcome you, sir.
Good morning. I hope I'm audible. Alright. So, thanks Little Kids for giving me an opportunity to address the parents who all are having the kids of tomorrow, the future of our countries tomorrow. Right? So, I would like to welcome you all. So, as you all know, as one of our member also gave a brief introduction about myself. Got it? So, I'm a certified professional in the field of psychology. Got it? So, in today, I am here to brief you about the child psychology aspect. Okay, so being a parent, so once we have a child, it's also equally important to know their psychology. Okay, so anybody here who had earlier exposure to the subject psychology in general? Anybody here who knew something about psychology, whether it's a child psychology or adult psychology or human psychology? Not much. Okay. So in this particular workshop today, what you expect to learn or what you expect to know? Since we have a topic itself as a child psychology, so what is your expectation to know? Or what is your planning that you are looking forward in this today's workshop? Anybody? Okay, I'll just brief you. Okay, so today I'll be covering the aspect of motivation. Got it? So why first of all the psychology is necessary to know? Okay, for example, if you want to understand a person, okay, so it has to be understood right from the young age itself. Okay, likewise the behavior of a child, it might be the emotional aspect of a child, that might be, or even the cognitive aspect, the intellect, intelligence, memory, thinking, personality. So all of these things are only studied or understood through the subject psychology itself. Got it? So as a parent, since we have a children, we should know their behavior. We should know their thinking, their perspectives, their thoughts, their emotional state of mind. Got it? So in that particular manner, we'll be covering today's workshop. Okay, so I told you we'll be covering the aspect of motivation, child motivation. Okay, so I think most of your kids are in between 3 to 6 years age, right? So probably 2 years or probably 6-7 years age. So we'll just stick on to this particular category today. Got it? Since we have a couple of hours today, so we'll just go in deep and understand the aspects. Got it? So first of all, do you agree child requires motivation? Right? So in what areas they need motivation? When do you feel like I need to motivate my child? Yeah. To go to school also, do they need motivation? On an everyday basis. Okay, fine. So to write, to do their homework, even to have their breakfast, lunch, dinner by themselves, right? So without motivating, is it possible for them to do all of these activities by themselves? But as a parents, we might expect, right? So they are kids, they might see us, we eat, so they might learn by seeing us, right? So many a times these expectations comes naturally, without even having some knowledge and without even having some basic understanding. Okay, so we'll discuss one by one. So whenever we talk about motivation, okay, through two ways we can motivate a child. Can anybody say how we can motivate a child? Usually, how do you motivate? You tell me. If you want to build some good habits, good behavior in a child, so there also you need to motivate a child. You need to encourage. Encouragement, appreciation, recognition. So these are the basic needs which we need to do in a child. If we as a parents and family members, we cannot expect other people will be doing these things now. It might be parents, it might be grandparents, or it might be any elder person in the family. So these are the basic needs which a child requires right from the family environment itself. Okay, so you tell me if you want to correct a behavior in a child, what do you do? If you want to correct a behavior in a child, this is a bad behavior, this is not good behavior, it's a harmful behavior. Okay, this behavior you want to correct. For example, having fight conflicts with siblings. Okay, so if you want to avoid this particular fights, if you want to correct this behavior, a child beating elder sibling or younger sibling, so what do you do as a parent? Tell me, what do you do? You also scold a child and beat a child to correct those behaviors? Yeah, so basically naturally these scoldings, beatings, right, and using abusive words, so all of these things comes naturally. So because that is what we know, this is how we can correct a child's behavior. So that category we consider it as a punishment. So it's a good thing, punishing a child to correct their behavior. But punishmentally we have two types. Okay, positive way of punishing a child and negative way of punishing a child. So in order to correct a child's behavior, whenever we scold them, whenever we beat them, whenever we hit them, so these are the positive punishments that we consider, because we are adding something here. So it shouldn't be always verbal scoldings, physical abusive. So we can add certain other things also in order to correct this behavior. Okay, for example, we can also add certain burdens, responsibilities in a child. Okay, if you are beating or misbehaving with your sibling, or elder sister, elder brother, right, imposition anta. Or else say 10 times, I'm sorry, I won't repeat this behavior in front of your sibling. So this is also one positive behavior. Instead of we scolding them, we should make them ask sorry for 10 times, 15 times. So this is one technique again. Okay, because the child also learns that whenever I do this particular mistake, my mother, my father make me to ask sorry for so many times, because the child will never like it, first of all. Alright, so this is one way of punishing a child, because the words will have larger impact on a child whenever it comes through parents. Okay, so in the heat of moment only we might scold a child, right? But later on effectively, psychologically how it will be affecting the relationship between mother and a child, father and a child, how it affects another ಬಗ್ಗೆ we do not give much importance in a long run only. Okay, so this is one way. Okay, and even we can cut their privileges as a form of punishment itself. In child's case, Ali, what are their privileges? Can you say? From child perspective, in the what is their privileges which comes on a daily basis? Sir? Screen time, general lagi, okay. Then play time. Then so in snacks. Okay. In short, whatever you give it to a child, Allah, everything is their privilege. Even if they get food on time, that is also their privileges itself. Even if they get enough of screen time, enough of play time, enough of interaction with the family members, with siblings, with grandparents, even with the neighbors' kids, everything comes as a form of privileges itself, right? So even if we cut any of these privileges, it also acts as a form of punishment itself. That is what we see in negative punishment. Something is taken, withdrawn from a child, whichever the child likes most. Favorite TV show, cartoon show ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, right? So if you do not allow them to watch it, that is also a punishment itself for a child. Just because you are misbehaving with your sister or your sibling, I won't allow you to watch your cartoon show. So, but what will the child do during that particular 1 hour, 2 hours? The child will be blank, so that the child learns. If I misbehave again, tomorrow also this screen time of my favorite cartoon show I won't be able to watch. Okay, so these are the through punishment also we can do so many aspects like this. So even in school environment also, recently I was discussing with ma'am, we just bring kids to the principal athwa office room anta. So there also we are cutting the child's privileges of being in a class, privileges of sitting next to my favorite or close friend or best friend. Okay, so these are the ways where we can cut the privileges and also correct the behaviors in a child. Okay, it shouldn't be always scolding a child. It shouldn't be always isolating a child, putting them in a dark room. So today, even in schools practice also, no child will be punished through this physical aspect, physical abuse, physical punishment, because the government is also very much concerned with that hearing. The subject psychology is also slowly booming. In these educational policies, curriculums, all of these things are being inculcated, incorporated. But when it comes to family, it's too personal thing. Government cannot directly interfere. Okay, so as a form of these particular workshops, seminars, from the words of expert, the family members can understand. Okay, it's not always a physical abusive way of punishing and also verbal way of punishing or scolding a child. Through cutting their privileges also we can still correct their behaviors. Okay, is there any particular behavior in anybody's mind how to change this particular behavior? This is how I punish a child. Whether it's correct or is there any other way of punishing a child to correct this behavior? Any questions, any doubts you have when it comes to punishing? Even giving impositions, all of these things, school environment, even at home parents also can give. Writing, I'm sorry for this particular behavior, I won't repeat it for 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. Because once the child feels it burden, the child will never repeat those things again. Especially this 3 to 6 years age, the child wants to be free for itself. The child doesn't want any sort of responsibility, any sort of duties. The child shouldn't be answerable to anybody. So if you are making a child to be responsible, if you are making a child to be answerable, they find it as a burden, punishment to them. Okay, so these are the two things which we can do. One, through adding certain things in a sort of punishment apart from physical abuse, verbal abuse, impositions anta irbodu, communicating or asking sorry for so many times anta irbodu. So these are the things. And when it comes to cutting of privileges, anything you can cut. If a child is going every day evening for a park with grandparents, walk again, just for a recreational activity, that is also a privilege which can be cut in order to make the child understand their mistakes to correct their behavior. If you make them sit and give all sort of scientific explanation, logical reasoning, the child will not understand. Yeah. Okay, so that is what it will be there. Got it? So any questions you have? Another doubts there? Yeah. Get aggressive. Yeah. So, the question is, whenever we punish a child, the child might get even aggressive for those punishment, for receiving those punishment. So, what sort of punishment makes a child get aggressive? Parents ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೋಪ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಬೈದಾಗ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಿಸಿಕಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೊಡೆದಾಗ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಟೂ ಸಿಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್. ಎಲ್ಡರ್ ಸಿಬ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಸ್ಕೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಚಿಕ್ಕ ಮಗು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ದೊಡ್ಡವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಕೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬೀಟಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್. ಬೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮೈಟ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾಪನಿಂಗ್, ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸ್ಕೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಡರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್, ನಾನು ಮಾಡದೇ ಇರೋ ತಪ್ಪು, ತಮ್ಮ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ತಪ್ಪು, ಐ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಕೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ. So that is where they get aggressive there. Okay. So whenever it is in a form of verbal abuse, physical abuse, child get even aggressive. So that is why we have these sort of impositions. The sort of asking or communicating sorry verbally. Okay. So here also we are making a child to avoid this particular peculiar behavior. Even we don't want child to be so much aggressive. Okay. So once we make them understand, you on the behavior, I am punishing you. If you do not repeat this behavior, I won't be punishing you at all. The child will also understand. Once the parent communicate, many a times parents address them out of the. That is also major issue. Why we are punishing a child? Why we are giving rewards to a child? Now address them out of the, because we expect, we assume they understand. The child will never understand anything. Everything has to be taught. Everything has to be explained. Everything has to be given justifications for a children only. So, ನಮ್ಮ assumption basis ಮೇಲೆ we cannot expect a child to understand everything. So, addressing also equally important. Why this particular punishment you got in school antano, we should address as a parent. Why this particular punishment I am giving, ಅದನ್ನು address ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. So, there the child has clarity. ಬೇರೆ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ಸ್ಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆಬ್ವಿಯಸ್ಲಿ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅವಾಯ್ಡ್ ದೋಸ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್. ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು, ಇಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ವರ್ಕಿಂಗ್, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಅಂಟಿಲ್ ದ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ 4 years, 5 years, 6 years ಡೈವರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಈಸಿ. ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಡೈವರ್ಟ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಮೈಂಡ್. ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಷ್ಟ ಅದು, ರೈಟ್? Diverting adults' mind is not so easy. Whereas children's ali we can easily divert, we can easily distract them. Whenever they are getting aggressive and arrogant, what all things you can do to distract them? Em madbodu. At least immediately, if you can't take them to park, you can say, let's go to a park, a temple. On the way, I'll get you a soft ice cream anta ಅಥವಾ chocolate anta. Immediately they divert their mind. All their thinking process, thought process will be of the evening plan. How it will be, how can I get this particular thing, what can I do in a park antala. So immediately we can divert their attention ಮತ್ತೆ concentration kuda. Okay, whenever you leave child freely especially during these negative situations all negative thoughts, negative thinking, negative perspective itself, the child continues to think in a flow as a chain reaction. One negative, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು negative, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು negative, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು negative ಬೆಳ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. But in short, if we take things control and divert the child's mind, okay, so at least we can direct those thoughts, thinking in a positive way. Okay, so this is one thing which we can give. I hope ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಸಿಕ್ತು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ. ಅಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅರೋಗೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್, ಸೊ ಡೈವರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಈಸಿಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್. ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೊಂದು ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಡೈವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ, ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ. ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ, ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಫಾರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ಒನ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಟಿಂಗ್. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಬಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಐ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು talk much, whether it's a teacher or whether it's a parents, most of you know very well. Okay, so rewards anta bandaga what comes to your mind immediately? So first of all, ನಾವು punishment ಏನು ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ to discourage a particular behavior, right? ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ನ ಎಂಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ we don't punish, just to discourage ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫ್ಯೂಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಟು ಎಂಕರೇಜ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್. to encourage a behavior. So through giving rewards, we are motivating a child to repeat this behavior. Okay. So rewards ke anta bandaga, what comes to your mind? Stars. Okay. Smile is right. ಮನೇಲಿ ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಹೇಳಿ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದು ಟಾಯ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಬೈ ನ್ಯೂ ಟಾಯ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ our favorite snacks will cook ಅಥವಾ if there is any cookies biscuits just to make them feel happy we provide this rewards alone we have so many things why only this materialistic comes to our mind so children immediately attracts this particular rewards kuda okay so giving a stars smileys ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ವೆರೈಟೀಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ we can give to them okay size of a star can also be increased down the line color of a stars also can be changed we can use different ink pens sketch pens inside a star also we can give smileys one entire academic year we can push by experimenting all of this right so those things getting things from teacher side it's a different motivation to a child getting things from parent side it's a different motivation to a child in the beginning to get started with idanne we can repeat even at home environment okay so apart from these rewards we even have social rewards anta any idea social rewards what it is anta
ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗಂತೀರ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೋಗಂದೆ
the activities ಮತ್ತೆ privileges ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ it's based on activity taking him to the favorite parks favorite place temple grandparents home friends home relatives home ಇದೆಲ್ಲ activities based rewards whenever we take them outside even for shopping ಗೆ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ activity based rewards ಬರುತ್ತೆ so that is also one category again rewards ಅಲ್ಲಿ okay so social rewards ಅಲ್ಲಿ it's all about verbal appreciations encouragements right recognizing identifying then encouraging ಮತ್ತೆ motivating them everything that we do verbally scoldings na ನಾವು verbal ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ but when it comes to verbal encouragement appreciation that is where we fail many a times even the smallest small act of a child also has to be verbally appreciated that is when we can expect them to repeat okay so in child case I told you the child just want to be free from everything whatever they like they just want to do it a step okay even if the child is able to go and use the washroom by child themselves that small act also has to be appreciated and encouraged at least during initial days alli until and unless it becomes a habit alli tanka the motivation is compulsory once the habit is formed then the motivation doesn't require external motivation bekaga internally the child will be motivated to do all of these got it so any other small acts that the child does inside home environment so eating food by themselves right breakfast lunch dinner snacks whatever you give they finish it by themselves without spilling right and the dish also they put it in the vessel washing they might not do but at least till this putting to dishes they'll be doing so these behaviors also we need to encourage consistent act that is the basic form of motivation once there is encouragement recognition and appreciation alla we tend to repeat those behaviors as an adult you can only imagine at workplace alli if you are getting consistent encouragement and appreciation will you be motivated to do or demotivated as an adult we feel motivated likewise the same principle and concept applies in children as well but it so these small behaviors are consistent agi through social rewards we need to be giving consistent agi for children so in how we can appreciate a child verbally appreciating encouraging motivating hege ಮಾಡಬಹುದು children
Using adjectives for them.
adjectives okay
Super, awesome, fantastic, good job.
so these words can be easily applied so whenever a child scores well as a parents what do you say ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಸೇ?
Oh, very good.
ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್. ಸೊ ಇದನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಬಟ್ ಬರೀ ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಇರಬೇಕಾ? ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ ಈ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ಸನ್ನು ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ರೆಕಗ್ನೈಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಗಿವ್ ದಿಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್. ಇದರದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ರೈಟ್? ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ನ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಬರೋದೇ 20 years 30 years ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ ಲೈಫಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಅಬೌಟ್. ಇನಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಅ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್. ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಎಂಟಿ ವೆಸಲ್. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹೋಗುತ್ತೋ ಅದೇ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ರೂಟ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಡಲ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾರಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್. ಅಡಲ್ಟ್ ಲೈಫ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ ಏನೋ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಈಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಹುಡ್ ಡೇಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಡನ್. ಟಿಲ್ ಟೀನೇಜ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ತನಕ ಇದೆ ಟೈಮು. ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ದ ಫೌಂಡೇಶನ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಸಲ್ಲಿ ಟಿಲ್ ದ ಏಜ್ ಆಫ್ 6 years 7 years ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಸೆಟ್. ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನಾಲಿಟಿ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಸೆಟ್ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ. ಗಾಟ್ ಇಟ್? ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ವಿಚ್ ಈಸ್ ನೆಸೆಸರಿ. ಸೊ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಅನ್ನೋದಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗುಡ್ ಜಾಬ್, ಗ್ರೇಟ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ವೆನ್ ಎವರ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ ವಿತ್ ಟಾಯ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ಪ್ಲೇಯಿಂಗ್ assembling ಅಥವಾ keeping that in the same places, that thing also has to be appreciated. So smallest to small only the child requires it. As an adult we know, but the child doesn't know anything. If we do not correct those behaviors or appreciate those alla, the child learns this is what is normal anta. After playing I can leave these particular things in the same environment anta. Okay. So this is what motivation is also very much necessary. Social ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ಯಾವ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಡಿಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಮದರ್ ಟಂಗ್ ಮತ್ತು ರೀಜನಲ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜಲ್ಲೂ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಅದರ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ಎನಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ಗೆ? ಕ್ಲಾಪಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಈವನ್ ಹಗ್ಗಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್, ರೈಟ್? ಪ್ಯಾಟಿಂಗ್ ದೇರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್, ಓಕೆ? Having smile on the face whenever you communicate, having smile whenever you are appreciating, having smile, that also shows ಮತ್ತು reflects the emotional bond between mother and a child ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, father and a child ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಇದ್ರ ಮೇಲೇ ಬೆಳೆಯೋದು. just materialistic stuff ಮೇಲೆ it's very minimal. Got it? So here also we can see right? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು child motivation ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ, so ಇಲ್ಲಿ just privileges na we are giving to a child as a form of rewards ಅಷ್ಟೇ. So I told you everything what the child gets alla, it's their privileges. So privileges by default ಇರುವಾಗ we have to address it as a rewards to a kids, rewards to a child in this particular ways ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So activities ಗೆ I told you taking them out for a park, playground, temple, right? ಅಥವಾ ಅಮ್ಯೂಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, once in a month, once in a 3 months, ಅಥವಾ ಝೂಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಬಯೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್, ಪ್ಲಾನಿಟೋರಿಯಂ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೋ ಮೆನಿ ಅದರ್ ಸ್ಟಫ್. ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸು ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಸ್ಟಫ್, ಸ್ಟೋರಿ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ರೆಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಓಕೆ? ಮತ್ತು ಕಲರಿಂಗ್, ಸ್ಕೆಚ್ ಪೆನ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್. ಸೊ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗಿವಿಂಗ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಅ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಬಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಜುಕೇಟಿಂಗ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಯಾಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಎಜುಕೇಷನಲ್ ವೇ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So we have so many other rewards also. So this is the two ways in which we can motivate a child. Punishment kotti plus rewards kotti. Got it? So manenallu we can punish them negatively. Other privileges, even a parent stops communicating to a child, that also acts as a privilege withdrawn. New parents, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಸೋದು ಬಿಟ್ರೆ at least for few minutes, for few hours, then that privilege is also withdrawn. The child understands. The child cannot live without talking, without communicating, without interacting with the parents. Okay, so this is what we can understand here. Okay, any questions, any doubts you have in this? As a form of parenting, so how you can, ಬೇರೆ ಇನ್ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಅಥವಾ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಸಿನಾರಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಟು ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್ ದ? Stories. Okay. So even stories is also listening. It's also one of the privilege. Bedtime stories also. Okay. Each day we can. So in stories alone we can add certain skill sets, mata value based stories to our child. Okay. So practically it's very difficult for them to experience ಮತ್ತೆ learn the value aspects, moral principles ಮತ್ತೆ skill based aspect. So through stories we can educate them ಮತ್ತೆ make them understand. Okay. So this is what we have in this motivation in the children only. So just in initial stages ಅಲ್ಲಿ for every act the child requires motivation. ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ habit ಆಗಿ convert ಆಗೋ ತನಕ. Once it is already becoming a habit ಅಲ್ಲ, the child doesn't need any external motivation. They are internally motivated enough to do all of those activities because it's a habit for them. Got it? So this is what we can easily focus upon as a child. So in 3 to 6 years alle, the child is prone to take initiatives. Okay. So children do physical growth and development, we can witness how much height they are growing day by day, how much weight they are gaining day by day. But the psychological aspect of development, social aspect of development, cognitive aspect of development, emotional aspect of development, we cannot witness as we see the height of a child and the weight of a child. Okay. So ಇದನ್ನು ಒಂದು milestone ಅಂತ we call. 3 to 6 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ the child has to take enough initiatives. Okay. So if the child is not ready to take initiative ಅಲ್ಲ, the child will feel guilt about themselves. Neither initiative can develop ಅಥವಾ guilt feeling can develop in a child 3 to 6 years time ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಸೊ ಇದೆರಡರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ. ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸೈಕಾಲಜಿಕಲ್ ಮೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಅಂತಾನು ವಿ ಕಾಲ್. ಓಕೆ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಮೇಕ್ಸ್ ಅ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್? ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಬರೋದು. ಐ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ದಿಸ್ ಅಂತ, ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, ನನಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಓಪನ್ಸ್ ಅಪ್. ಈ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್. ಇಫ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ರಿಸೀವಿಂಗ್ ಎನಫ್ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮನೇಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ 3 to 6 years age gap alli? What do you expect as a parent? Initiatives. ಯಾವ ಕೆಲಸನ ಅವರಾಗವರೇ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ? Having food. So ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ the child has to take initiative ಅಲ್ಲ. If the child is not taking that initiative, they have that guilt feeling. They always depend on somebody to feed them. Parents ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. So in order to encourage a child to have food, how you can encourage ಅಂದ್ರೆ through rewarding them. Everybody is having food. Common time allene the child also should be having food. Initial stages alli the child spills food. In a very first stage alle the child doesn't learn how to eat properly anta. So aga the child spills. So it's a normal thing ena. Just because the child is spilling around anta, we shouldn't be punishing a child. So that is the way of learning. Trial and error method. The child learns. Just because they are spilling anta, we shouldn't punish them. Because that is how they learn. Slowly. Okay. So how home environmentally having food initiative we can understand. So that is one initiative. Apart from that, after giving birth, dressing up them by themselves. So that also some parents might expect in a child. So if you want to make them dress up by themselves, again motivation has to be there to a child as a form of reward. Because ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಎಂಕರೇಜ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಪನಿಷ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ವಿ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್. ಆಸ್ ಅ ಸೋಷಿಯಲ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಸ್ ಅ ಮೆಟೀರಿಯಲ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಆಸ್ ಅ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ರಿವಾರ್ಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ದ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ, ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್, child has to be independent. They have to do their own work. Homework kuda probably 3 to 6 years alli ashton complicated homeworks ಏನು ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. If the child is learning enough things at school environment proper agi, at home only they can finish those homework by themselves. At least for verification ge, correction ge, they might approach parents. You want to do those small homeworks, you know, to avoid them depending upon parents, they have to take those initiatives. I have this homework, let me finish it anta. Allu motivation only will make them finish all of this. Out of fear kuda they might do sometimes homework. Fear kuda, you know, form of motivation agi act agutte. If I do not finish homework, parents might punish me, might scold me anta. Athwa if I go to school tomorrow, teacher will be punishing me. I'll be embarrassed in front of my children, I mean friends and that. So out of fear also they do certain things. Got it? So this is what initiative the child has to learn between his 3 to 6 years. What happens if the child doesn't come forward to take initiatives? Manene, if the child is not taking initiatives, school alone they do not. So school environment ke anta bandaga we expect them to play with other children. So a play guno the child will not initiate. Even to write in a notebook ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, even to do some activities, even to do craft activities probably. Previous stage ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ if the child is not enough motivated to take initiatives ಅಲ್ಲ, even in school environment ಅಲ್ಲಿ it affects the same way itself. Every stage is interconnected. Home environment ಮತ್ತೆ school environment ಅಲ್ಲಿ. Got it? So many times we bring those complaints to the teachers as well. Right? So many times teachers also say some complaints about children to the parents. So everywhere it has to be worked at two environments. Manelonu it has to work and school environmental it has to be working. So this is why motivation is necessary to make sure the child is taking enough initiative anta. So next to primary school level alli anta bandaga ee initiative superiority complex agi develop agutte in a child. Okay? So the guilt is developed in 3 to 6 years alli inferiority complex develop agutte ee primary education time. So this is the difference. Every stage it is interconnected. Got it? Initiative ginna the child has to be enough independent in home environment 1.5 years in the 3 years tanka. So if the child is enough independent home environment next stage the child will be good enough to take initiatives. 3 years tanka home environment what independence the child requires. Okay, I'll take another 5 to 10 minutes. I'll just point it out. Okay, so before 3 years tanka manela irtara maklu ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ದೇ ವೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್. ಎಸ್ ಆರ್ ನೋ? ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 3 years ಪ್ರಾಬಬ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೀ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಹೋಮ್ಗೆ ವಿ ಮೇಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಜಾಯಿನ್. ಸೊ 3 years ತನಕ ವಾಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಪೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ ದೇ ನೀಡ್. 3 years what independency as a parents you can give to them? What do they expect? To play with toys for themselves. Okay, if the child is not having that enough independency autonomy feeling, the child will have self doubt ಮತ್ತೆ ashamed feeling about themselves, because whatever I do my parents are involving athwa my parents are being overly protective enough. That also learns by the child. Maneli what all exposure the child will do. Independence ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು. They might expect to enter puja rooms ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, kitchen rooms ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, bedrooms, bathrooms, corridor. They might want to go to terrace ಅಥವಾ want to climb upstairs ಮತ್ತೆ downstairs. I'm talking before 3 years kids again, right? So allu alla if we keep on restricting a child, the child will never feel that independence ಮತ್ತೆ autonomy feeling. I cannot do anything independently ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು mindset ಬರುತ್ತೆ child. Everything I need some approvals, some permissions, some recognitions matter, some instructions from my parents anta. So even in school environmental next stage only after 3 years they expect the same thing. I need teachers approval, I need teachers permissions, I need teachers instructions anta. So that is what early developmentally these are the things will be involved. So as a parents you might ask me, so if the child wants to go upstairs matte downstairs, as a parent shouldn't be, what question will it come to you? As a parent, we just want to allow the child without making any safety precautions antalla. So the environment now we have to just make safe for a child. Yavade harmful objects ilde irodu, sharp objects ilde irodu. Okay, even if the child is entering into puja room, just as a scenario example agi, immediately bringing out of the puja room will affect that ashamed feeling matte guilt feeling in a child. Instead, I told you we can divert the child's mind matte attention anta. We can show different toys, different things, and we can distract child mind and make the child themselves to come out, to step out. Or if the child is climbing upstairs matte downstairs, at least as a support we have to be there. Hardly for 2 to 3 minutes they want to do that activity as well. Not entire day, we don't have to be back of them. Once they know how it feels like climbing ಮತ್ತೆ coming downstairs, immediately they divert their mind themselves. Child ಅಲ್ಲಿ attention concentration span ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲ. Okay, so whenever they are doing activity, environment safe ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, independence ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. Whenever they are playing with Legos, building blocks, ಕೊಡ್ತೀರಾ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮನೇಲಿ ಟಾಯ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಫ್ ಆಗಿ? So you know the child what you need to do to develop that autonomy feeling, independency feeling in a child. After giving the toys ಮತ್ತೆ Legos ಅಥವಾ building blocks ಅಲ್ಲ, not expecting a child to build a particular blocks in a particular design. Okay, so ಅಲ್ಲೂ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ again we are over restrictive ಮತ್ತೆ overly involved. We are expecting a child to do something. We are not giving that independency to a child to explore the toys. Initial stages ಅಲ್ಲಿ the child want that independency to explore ಮತ್ತೆ understand how this particular toys are ಅಂತ. After 1 year 2 years forward ಆಗಿ we can also show ಮತ್ತೆ expect them. So this is how the Legos are used ಅಂತ. Okay, so this is how we can encourage that independence ಮತ್ತು autonomy even before 3 years, so that 3 to 6 years time ಅಲ್ಲಿ the child is taking enough initiative at home environment and also at school environment. So that primary ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದಾಗ the child will be having that superiority feeling about themselves, not inferiority feeling. Got it? Yeah. So this is what it is all about, child motivation. Okay, if you have any general questions, any general queries, you can let me know. Okay, actually the psychosocial development model in psychology it is, if you want you can further have the references ಮತ್ತೆ study upon it as well. Right from birth in there are certain psychological aspects keep on developing. ಕೆಲವು old age ತನಕನೂ ಇದೆ human psychology. Okay, first stage ಇಂದನೂ every stage ಅಲ್ಲಿ there is interdependence, interconnections, correlations. Okay, so this is what it is. For your further references you can also do. Okay, so we start explaining ಅಥವಾ making you understand ಅಲ್ಲ, 2 hours 3 hours sessions are also not enough sufficient. So if you have any general queries, general questions, any doubts regarding to this ಅಥವಾ how to handle a child in these particular scenarios, we are having this difficulty ಅಂತ, you can just let me know. I try to answer clear your doubts. It might be not related to the topic whatever we discussed. ಈ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇನ್ನ ಆಚೆನೂ you can generally ask whatever questions or doubts you have. Yeah.
Why do a child copies the other child? Exactly. Like he
So-
tries to do what the other child does exactly.
For that we need to understand how learning happens in a child anta, how they learn. Okay, so observation based learning allo the child might be getting influenced. So I told you the child mind is like so much flexible antanu, whatever other children does alla they want to imitate. So ಅದಕ್ಕೆ social learning ಅಂತಾನೆ ಒಂದು ಥಿಯರಿನೂ ಇದೆ, ಬೋಬೋಡಾಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತಾನೂ ಇದೆ, ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೋಬೋಡಾಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆರಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ. if you have if you enter, there is one small experiment done to say how the child observe and learn certain behaviors anta. It's not only about the child, ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, whatever parent does in a kitchen the child wants to imitate, whatever father does the child wants to imitate. So in imitation through the child will be learning certain things. So child only good thing bad thing ಅನ್ನೋದು they won't be having that understanding. Whether it's a bad thing also they want to imitate, whether it's a good thing also they want to imitate, just to learn, just to understand how things works anta. Whenever they are positively imitating alla, as a parents we don't have any problem. When it comes to negative ಮತ್ತೆ bad things of imitations ಮತ್ತೆ repetition and we question it, because the child doesn't know this is bad, this is good anta, they just want to do. As a parents we need to make them understand ಮತ್ತೆ correct those behaviors. How we can correct ಅಂದ್ರೆ through motivating, ಈ motivation, punishment ಮತ್ತೆ rewards ಇಂದ. ಅದರಲ್ಲೂ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದಾ why this particular behavior only the child imitates ಅಂತ.
Cousin, I mean, we live in a joint family, so these guys, my kid and the other, they are like 6 months apart.
Okay.
So he tries to imitate his cousin more. I haven't seen him doing it with the other kids.
Okay.
He does it more with his cousin.
So it might be attractive to a child, it might be something different, it might be a new unique thing, whereas other kids might not be doing that one particular behavior or activity.
Could it also be that he's kind of insecure because the other kids started getting the love the family? Could it be that?
Like from whom the child is getting influenced? Oh.
No. What I meant is, so is he trying to be insecure that his love is being shared now?
Oh,
Could it
since
be
it's a
that?
joint family?
Yeah,
How
we
many
live in a
kids you
joint.
have in the joint family?
So we have 3 kids.
Okay.
These 2 kids I'm speaking about, they are 6 months apart.
Apart. That's,
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're
Yeah,
not
that
together.
mentality or thinking also the child might have.
Okay.
Whenever the child does that particular behavior, attention, concentration is being given to that particular child. So even if I do the same behavior, even I get it. That deficit of attention with the concentration or giving importance to a kids that also might trigger. So if you observe that particular agya, you can address to a child. That is what I said. Many a times as a parents we never address things. Just imagining or assuming children will understand. Young ದೊಡ್ಡವರಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರೆ ಅಂತ. No. ಈ ವಯಸ್ಸಲ್ಲೇ they need to get things inside their head, mind. Okay. So if that behavior is too much disturbing kuda, so you can make them understand. Okay. So this is what the consequences of these behaviors will be. If you do this, I will be punishing you. Okay. So many a times why do children do mistakes, but they do violent things just to seek attention from the parents, because the required amount of attention is not being getting to a child. So adonu ಒಂದು craving ಇರುತ್ತೆ children ಅಲ್ಲಿ. That is also one milestone again. So enough of attention mother side ಇಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ some way they find it to get that attention. Enough of attention father side ಇಂದ ಬರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ some way they figure it out. Again in classroom environment it happens. If teacher is not paying enough attention, they think of multiple ways of how can I gain attention. So in the very first place, whatever attention is required, if you provide to them, then these behaviors can be avoided. So this is one. Yeah. I hope some of you can try to figure it out. Until and unless we go to the core of a problem or the roots of a problem, to figure out this is very difficult. Understand. It's a social learning aspect. Even as an adult also, certain things we learn from so many other people because we find it interesting, enjoying, curious, productive. Repeating. It's easily influenced in those environmental peer group. Yeah, ma'am.
What if some kid is not ready to sit at all and wants to always roam around, hitting other children, and just whatever you give, he is not at all sitting, and what can be done, sir?
So in short, the child is not at all interested in any activity. If not interested also, is not able to concentrate. Right. So only the child's bodily energy flow will be so much. So these energies has to be channelized first. So since already overflow of energy, we cannot reduce it. Right? If the child is too tall, can you reduce the height of a child? No. But whereas if the child is short, by sending them for the swimming, sports activities, we can increase the height. But here the height is already tall enough. Likewise here the child energy, it is already, the flow of energy is high. We just have to have so much activities to a child to engage. That is how it will be channelized.
No, sir. Whatever activity you give and make them involved in it, it will be hardly for fraction of seconds. Then they just leave it again. They want to run around or hit someone, or they want to do something else, but not the thing all others are doing.
Instead of having 2 to 3 activities, we need to have 10 to 15 activities there.
But so all the kids are not that. Just for
again,
one kid you
exceptionals.
can't make 15 activities like that.
At home environment we can control and manage. In school environment we have to figure it out. Again, trial and error method, teachers, management has to figure out how to manage this particular kids. Okay, again home activities as a parents we can have, instead of normal children if they have 3 to 4 activities, they'll be managed for 1 or 2 hours. ಈ ತರ ಇರುವಾಗ ಆ 1 or 2 hours we need to have 10 to 12 activities. Complete opposite activities ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇದ್ರೂ slightest change ಇದ್ರೂ it will be doing. For example, coloring ಅಥವಾ painting ಅಲ್ಲಿ sketching is one activity, coloring in color pencil, coloring in crayons, painting ಅಲ್ಲಿ sketch pen ಅಲ್ಲಿ, again smallest difference the child will be attracted. Okay. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಥಿಂಗ್. ಮೆನಿ ಅ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೂ ಹೀಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನು ADHD ಅಂತಲೂ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್. ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಡೆಫಿಸಿಟ್ ಮತ್ತು ಹೈಪರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್. ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹೈಪರ್. ದೇರ್ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಡಿವೈಡೆಡ್, ಸ್ಕ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಂತ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅಥವಾ ನಾಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಹೇಳೋದಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಕೆಪಾಸಿಟಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಗಿಫ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟೆಡ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಸಮಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್. Right? The child requires so much things. Normal children's 1 week ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲಿಯೋದು, the child learns it in 2 to 3 days. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಚಿಲ್ಡ್ರನ್ಗೆ, ಚೈಲ್ಡ್.
ಸರಿ ಕೂತು.
Sir, if I am taking any class, no, sir, the child will not listen, will be singing, and all of a sudden he will shout. He won't sit in his place.
Okay, you won't sit up?
No, sir.
Same again.
If I call the name, he won't see at all.
So that
Eye to eye contact.
So many cases ಅಲ್ಲಿ these peculiar things will be there in a children. Again, exceptionals are. Okay, certain behaviors, special children ಅಂತ, ಅಥವಾ check it with low IQ.
But he does everything, sir. He will identify everything. He will write.
Whatever you teach, even without seeing ಅಥವಾ test exam ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ the child will be performing well. Again, exceptionals ಗೆ ಬಂದು gifted ಮತ್ತೆ talented children. So what you expect to a child to do then? If the child is already doing enough of things, you want the child to listen to you.
Yes, sir.
Even not listening also, the child is able to do a lot.
He will shout, sir. All of a sudden. All the children will get disturbed.
Okay. Shout in the sense producing noise, making the child disturbed. They'll be lost in their own thoughts, thinking alli anta. Okay. Family environment ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ we need to look there. Some traumatic experience ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, conflicts between family members, husband and wife, with the parents. So those things also.
He scared, sir. Someone enter the class, no, sir. He will scare.
He is scared.
He will get.
Those things are the family environment we need to see. How the child is having environment at home environmentally. If it is productive, positive, destructive, constructive. Right? Joint family ಅಥವಾ ಹಸ್ಬೆಂಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವೈಫ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಜಗಳ ಇದೆಯಾ, ಇನ್-ಲಾಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಜಗಳ ಇದೆಯಾ. ಸೊ ಈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ. ಸೊ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಟಾಕ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಫಿಗರ್ ಔಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೂ ನಾವು ಮೆನಿ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಜಗಳ ಆಡಬೇಡಿ ಅಂತ. ಅಟ್ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೋ ತನಕ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸಮ್ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಆ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೇ ಸಾಕು, ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಯಿತು ಆ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಪೀರಿಯಡಲ್ಲಿ. Right? So that is also one thing. Environmental insecurities ashte we cannot say. Basically the child will be dealing in home environment ಮತ್ತು school environment. ಈ ಎರಡು environment ಅಲ್ಲೂ if the child is not having secure feeling ಅಲ್ಲ, these are the negative effects ಮತ್ತೆ destructive things we can witness in a child personality development ಅಲ್ಲೂ it will be affecting. The child ಅದನ್ನೇ normalize ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೂ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. If it is a parent, this is how they will be behaving anta. If I become a parent, future alli fighting or conflict is a normal thing. It's a normal thing anta. So this is how they build perceptions namata mentality. Right? Yeah. So shyness, like if the child is so if the child is too shy, right, ಅಥವಾ hesitating to speak up ಮತ್ತೆ open up, so it is also a normal thing itself. Family members ಜೊತೆ open up ಆಗ್ತಾರಾ?
ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅವ್ನು ತುಂಬಾ ಶೈನೆಸ್, ಏನ್ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೋ, ಏನು ತಪ್ಪೋ ಸರಿನೋ,
ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ?
ಎಲ್ಲಾರ ಹತ್ರನೂ ಹಾಗೆ.
ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಮ್ಮನ
ಹತ್ರ ಸ್ಕೂಲಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಅವನು ಗೊತ್ತು ಹೇಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ.
ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, as I told you, first 3 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ if the child was not enough independent ಅಲ್ಲ, so this is where they dependent parents ಮೇಲೆ ಅಥವಾ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ, unless and until I am asked I won't say anything ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 3 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ child was having enough of independence ಮತ್ತು autonomy feeling ಅಲ್ಲ, I have some autonomy feeling ಅಂತ, then they take these initiatives. ಇಲ್ಲಿ the child ಗೆ because of that shyness ಮತ್ತು hesitation ಗೆ he is not taking initiatives. That is what is happening. ವೆದರ್ ಟು ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಟು ಡೂ ಸಮ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ಬಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ವರ್ಡ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಥ್ರೂ ಮೋಟಿವೇಶನ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಎನ್ಕರೇಜ್. ಇಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ಅಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ಯಾವಾಗ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಇವತ್ತಾದರೂ?
ಹಾ ಸರ್, ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಮುಗ್ದೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ.
ಲೇಟ್ ಯೂಶಲಿ
ಅವನಿಗೆ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಫುಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. ಹೋಗಿ ಒಂದ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಅಷ್ಟರಲ್ಲಿ ಇವು ಶೈನೆಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದಾಗ್ಲೇ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ.
ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಗೆ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೆಂಡ್ ದೆಮ್. ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಾ? ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್
ಇಲ್ಲ, ಮನೇಲೆ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
ಮನೇಲಿ ಆಡೋದು, ಮನೇಲಿ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನೇಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಬೇರೆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಯೆಟ್. ಆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ಬೈ ಪುಟ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಹಾಕೋದು? ಕೋ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ. ಆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇಫ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಟೇಕ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್. ಬರೀ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಮನೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಧ್ಯೆ ಆಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈವನ್ ರಿಲೇಟಿವ್ಸ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ದೇ ಹೋಗ್. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ದೇ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಸಿಂಗಿಂಗ್, ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸಿಂಗ್ ಇವನ್ ಇನ್ ಫ್ರಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಸು, ಸಿಂಗಿಂಗ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ, ಕೋ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೂ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ 3 months 6 months ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಆ 3-6 months ಎವ್ರಿ ಡೇ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಆ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ವಿತ್ ದಟ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಸೊ ಆ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕೋ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೇರಿಸೋದ್ರಿಂದ ದೇ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಎವ್ರಿವೇರ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಅಷ್ಟು ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ. ಓಕೆ, ವಿತೌಟ್ ಗೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಅಥವಾ ವಿತೌಟ್ ಸೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಟು ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚ್ ದೆಮ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ವಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ದೆಮ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಈ ಬೇರೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್, ಕೋ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ಗೂ ಆ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸೇ ಇದೆ. ಇಫ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಸಿಂಗರ್, ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಡ್ಯಾನ್ಸರ್, ಆಗ ದೇ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೀಚ್ ದೆಮ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಪರ್ಸ್ನಲಿ ಕಂಡಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೆವೆರಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗೇನ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಮೇಕ್ ದ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್. ಆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಝೋನ್ ಇರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಬರಬೇಕು ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ಗೆ ಟು ಏನು ಟೇಕ್ ಇನಿಷಿಯೇಟಿವ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಎನ್ವಿರಾನ್ಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲೂ ಆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟ್ ಝೋನ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಬಂದಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಪ್ರೀ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ಲೇ ಗ್ರೂಪಲ್ಲಿ. LKG UKG ಬರೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಸೋ ಮಚ್ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಲ್ ಇವನ್ ವಿತ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಕೂಡ. ಆ ಕಂಫರ್ಟಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಬರಬೇಕು, ಆಗ ಶೈನೆಸ್ಸು, ಹೆಸಿಟೇಷನ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇಟ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಟ್ರೈ ಪುಟಿಂಗ್ ದೆಮ್ ಇನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇರಬೇಕು, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಮತ್ತು ಕೋ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವೇರ್ ದೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಬೂಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಮತ್ತು ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ಫುಲ್ ಟು ದೆಮ್.
So, why would the child be aggressive against one member of the family, but loving and caring with others? So, how do we change that mindset?
Yeah. So, our mindset ಬರೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆನೇ we have to set it normal. Okay, so depending upon the parents' interaction with the child, they also build up this emotional attachment, emotional bond, love, care and affection with this particular person. End of the day, it's all independent relations. Just because mother is good with the child will not normalize that behavior with the father as well. Even father also has to be good to a child. Parenting style, we can take example now. If mother is following different style of parenting, father is at different style of parenting, then favoritism, the child starts to develop. Father is too permissive. Whatever I ask, the father is granting everything for me. But when it comes to mother, she restricts me in everything. So obviously the child knows whom to approach to get things done. Because my father gives permission, everything, they'll be going towards father itself every day. So father and child madhya relationship, attachment, bond ellanu strong agi develop agutte, everything is positive. Mother jotege it will be start to detachment. So even for parents also we prefer and ask them to spend equal time, common time with the child. At least ಈ favoritism, partiality, inequality ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ right from engaging on it, the child is not exposed to it. Father probably they might not be having time because they'll be going for work. At least after work, certain amount of time at the house has to be dedicated. Mother time the child will be there right from morning till evening. So obviously the time most mother jote or father jote if the child is spending they'll be comfortable. Attachment, affection, everything will be developed higher a particular thing. Okay, so that is also one particular things will be there. Aggressive ಮತ್ತೆ arrogant ಈ ಮ್ಯಾಟರ್ ಬಂದಾಗ how as a parent we punish a child, that is how even they learn. Okay, if you are abusing, if you are physically punishing, if you are making the child feel scared about yourself, obviously they will be having afraid feeling ಮತ್ತೆ fear feeling about yourself. Instead of that ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ ನಾನು we have so many ways of punishing a child ಅಂತ. Always it shouldn't be verbal abusive ಮತ್ತೆ physical abusive. Privileges na withdraw ಮಾಡೋದ್ರಿಂದನೂ we can correct their behaviors. Okay, is there any particular ಅಥವಾ particular time ಅಥವಾ particular behavior aggressive?
Nothing specific, but with his grandmother he is always a little aggressive. But with parents he is calm, cool, composed.
Again, grandparents with the child, how much time he or she spends on that board, ಅಥವಾ during the time of he spends, what are things the child will be learning, ಅಥವಾ what are the teachings will be happening. A time ಅಲ್ಲಿ play time ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, relationship between these two individuals also will be mattering. What the child is getting from grandmother. If parents are providing more for learning, obviously with grandmothers only it might be less. So only the child won't be so much interested. Comfort zone no matter ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. With whom the child is more comfortable ಅಂತ. It's not the child, it's always the elderly people. How we behave with them, how we teach them, how we handle them. That is how they build a relationship with us. It's not the kids. Okay. Even
He spends more time with his grandmother.
productive ಆಗಿರಬೇಕು, and even grandmother also should be comfortable in teaching in certain ways. If you say that the child is comfortable with parent, the grandmother should adapt how the parent is teaching ಮತ್ತೆ spending time on. So if the same behavior is seen even in grandmothers the child will feel comfortable even with grandmother. The differences idrunu they find that discomfort. Parenting alone ಅಷ್ಟೇ, we always suggest them to have one common style of parenting. Differences ಇದ್ದಷ್ಟು the way in which they behave ಮತ್ತೆ interact that also differs. ಬರೀ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಗ್ರ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸೇಮ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬೀನ್ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅಪ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಕಾಮನ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಬಿ ದೇರ್. ಮತ್ತೆ
if child is especially enabled, physically enabled or something there, right? And he is not comfortable in the class or somewhere, right? So that time how to boost that confidence. And sometimes what happens, they are very over smart. Okay? Family members is not thinking that much. How much they can think. So that time there are the two situations here, right? So that time how to control and how to manage that.
So physically challenged, physically disabled children ಅಲ್ಲಿ school, just the infrastructural environment if it's there, then it is managed. So how to encourage this particular person andre through reward itself we have to encourage more and more rewards. Okay, so physical disability, it was not even in our control. For certain children right from birth itself due to polio or various reasons they will be physically disabled. So their learning, their exposures, their experiences, everything will be in a different way from compared to a normal children. Okay, so there also we need to just figure out first how we can make a child learn. When it comes to physical games and physical sports activities, there are certain things if the child is not able to play outdoor games.
Building the confidence is different.
Confidence, obviously there will be lack of confidence in this particular thing.
Confidence he can learn. But he is not confident, right?
Okay.
Then you can't teach anything, right? So they can be aggressive or they can do something that you don't want, right?
Yeah.
So in that condition, how to deal with that? How to boost the confidence? That is the question.
As a parent, at least will be able to identify in which areas the child is good at. Whether the child is having the talent or skill of drawing, coloring, painting, playing, thinking, sketching, right? So these areas only we need to make the child do more activities, and only these areas has to be presented to a child. You are good in these activities and that. So through those talents but the skill sets only we can boost their confidence. In which areas they are not good at all, we should sidetrack all of those. We shouldn't talk about those aspects at all. Not every children will be good at everything. Every children will be having the talent, skill sets in different things. So each children only what all they will be having, only those things has to be highlighted. Those things only the child has to get enough exposure, motivation.
Thank you.
ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತದ್ದು ಹೋಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೀಳ್ತಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೀಳು
Try to deviate the attention and try to somehow make them calm down. But sometimes kids also become very adamant, they become intelligent, and you don't let us calm them down in any way.
Yeah.
How do we really handle those kind of, like, can we really punish them, or what kind of punishment really works?
So punishment alone I told you, no, just apart from verbal abuse, physical abuse, you can still cut down their privileges. If you are continue to behave, must be arrogant in the same way, these privileges of yours will be disconnected or snatched away from you. Okay, so privileges only in the beginning itself I told, like I was addressing, whatever the child gets, everything is their privileges itself. Even if you get them a snacks, even if you get them a toy, stationaries, sketch pen, color pencil, or give them a screen time, allow them to play outside. So all of these, any of these privileges can be cut down to make them understand what and normalize that arrogant behavior. Okay, so many a times what the child will do, whenever the child starts crying, we immediately give whatever the child is demanding. So that thing also the child normalizes. Whenever I ask something, I don't get. But if I start crying, I get what I want. So for parents, that is also being told. Okay, whenever a child is crying or being arrogant, immediately do not provide them anything. Once the child is having that normal state of mind, whatever the child is asking, just you can provide those particular things, and any other alternatives has to be there. Alternative is also very much important. If you do not have any alternative, we cannot convince a child. So during childhood, everything works as a form of desires. Children say they desire something. If they get that, they feel pleasure. Then their behavior will be under control. If they do not get Allah, they feel pain. Those desires are not met. So a pain is that is where it triggers them to be aggressive, arrogant, have negative behavior, have angry on parents also. So that how we should always have alternative. So whenever we have alternative, we can easily distract the child's mind also. Parents little bit have to be creative enough in handling children. Always the same diversion might not work. Every time we need to come up with new things, new techniques. Okay? Yeah. If not in family members, if the child is too comfortable with somebody, we can use those individuals also to calm down and control the child's behavior. Whatever that person says, the child immediately listens. So those individuals, we can take help and make use of immediately. Yeah.
If your child is over smart, right? He knows what needs to be done. He doesn't listen to you. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
If your child is over smart and how to do it. For example, my son knows that he has to chew the food and eat, but he doesn't do that.
Okay.
How to do it. Even if I tell him I'll reward you, he'll never touch it. It's only we who are giving food.
Is it a single child? So there also for single child only parents it's again difficult. So siblings at least we can make. Sibling is also eating, we can also eat. School also eat problem with you. Even in school also the child doesn't eat. Have food.
He only takes snacks to
Okay.
his teacher can tell him. Even if man tells him.
Okay. So he is not even scared having that fear also. No.
He knows everything, what needs to be done, if he doesn't do it.
Over smart. But when will be eating again? When we'll have the food?
We only will feed him. He will
Okay.
not eat by himself. That's what I'm trying to tell. He knows that we have to chew, but he doesn't chew food, he chews junk food.
Okay. Okay. So you expect parents to be feeding them in person. Okay. So really we should always give other child examples kuda. Otherwise friends will be having.
Actually, I have a big joint. I mean, I have a big family. My parents' place. When I go and put them there with my cousin's place,
Okay.
they will not. No matter what happens.
Okay.
They will not do that.
Have you tried to cut down any privileges of the child's activity? You don't care, you don't mind. Okay. So on a everyday basis, at least the child is having 3 times
No,
food.
he's eating food because we are feeding him, but he doesn't eat all of it.
That's
I
right.
want that.
Hmm.
How to deal with it.
So gradually the child might also learn. For example, at this particular environment, the child is more comfortable probably. School allo ಅಷ್ಟೇ. After preschool LKG ಗೆ the child has to go to first standard. So ಅಲ್ಲಿ new environment ಇರುತ್ತೆ, new friends ಇರುತ್ತೆ, new teachers ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So at least this particular behavior na we can take help from the class teacher also. Right from the day beginning. So many a times ಅದೇ ಹೇಳದ್ನಲ್ಲ, comfort too much comfort ಆದಾಗಲೂ kids will take things for granted because they know maximum what my parent can do on them. So if they get to know these particular things, then it is of no use. That is where we can take help from other people. Manenallu, if the child is not scared of mother, father, to some extent fear is also important ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. Okay, if the child is too much comfort, then this behavior also cannot be teaching by a family members. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಾನೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರೋದು ಇಟ್ಸ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗುಡ್ ಟು ಸಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು, ಯಾರು ಕಲಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಎಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಡೇ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ದಟ್ ಬಿಹೇವಿಯರ್. ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಟು ಅಗ್ರೆಸಿವ್ ವಿತ್ ದೆಮ್, ಅಗೇನ್ ಆರ್ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್. Emotional bond, affection, attachment. Let them affect our class teacher. It doesn't matter. Let them have that hatredness of school teacher. At least family environmentally, the relationship is decent enough, good enough. Out of some fear, the child is doing that activity, which is important. That can be done. Okay. There in yaru ilva, at least neighbors allo, inside families who can make a child aid. So in different environment, the child goes over tankana, we have to take the chance. Down the line, some children will be meeting these milestones on time. Some children early agi meet ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, in some children ಅಲ್ಲಿ late ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Late ಆದರೂ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 3 months, 6 months, 1 year buffering time for all behaviors we need to be keeping that. Okay. ಕಲಿಯೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದಾಗ ಅಬ್ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಟರ್ನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, which is not happens in majority of children cases. 3rd standard, 4th standard, 6th standard, till what age they can be expecting a teacher or a parent to keep on feeding them. They also love whenever they see other children. So age alli the child might be not having that much understanding ability, maturity. Even though they see, they might not understand, but later on they'll be learning. So there are milestones there. So if you just go through those milestones, what age alli what activities has to be there, buffering period, slow learners ge, fast learners ge, will normalize certain things. Any other questions? Yeah.
Start crying till you leave it. After that, they'll not leave. Or they'll go to the person who will provide their privilege. Like in our house, I'm the villain, sir, all the time. So I cut the privileges, I do everything. They know the father will give it because he is available only for some time at home. So he doesn't want them to cry, or he doesn't like them crying and all. So he is like, it's okay, let us give it. And what happens gradually, my son sometimes he tells that, Mama, she is very bad. So I don't know, sir. When he is not there, if I cut his privilege, he'll behave very nicely.
Okay.
And he'll be like, okay, Mama, I'll do it, and he's okay. But when he knows that his dad is there, he'll give it to him. He'll do whatever is possible to get it. He'll cry. He'll go and hit him. He doesn't hit me. He'll go and hit him, and he'll trouble him in all the ways till he provides him that.
Okay.
So how can this
You can only provide, no? Whenever a child does whatever the activity has to be done, adadmele immediately you can provide.
No, sir. When he's misbehaving, he's hitting his sister, or
Okay.
he's not doing what is to be done in a proper way, I tell him you have to do it like this.
He
It's
does.
not good thing to do it like that.
Okay.
So he's like, no, I'll not do. Then I tell, okay, you're not going to watch the TV, or I'll not give you your favorite snack or something.
Okay.
Then when his father is not there, he'll be like, okay, mama, I do, and he'll do it immediately. But when he sees that his father is around, he'll not do it at any cost, sir. He'll tell, I'll not do.
In presence of father also the child will be beating ಮತ್ತೆ hitting the
He'll go and beat him, he'll trouble him in all the ways, and he'll get what he wants. And then he'll come and tease me that, see, I got it. You did not give, but I got it.
ಅದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್. ಫಾದರ್ ಈಸ್ ಟು ಮಚ್ ಪರ್ಮಿಸಿವ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಫಾದರ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ವಾಂಟ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪಾಯ್ಲ್ ದ ರಿಲೇಶನ್ಶಿಪ್. ಹಾರ್ಡ್ಲಿ 5 to 6 hours he might get after finishing those office work ಎಲ್ಲ. So at least we need to address it. At least father, whenever he is providing this privileges alla, father has to address to a child what is good, what is bad, why your mother is not giving, why I am giving, what she is expecting. The same thing also I expect from you. Okay, so whenever the child is comfortable with one particular person alla, so to build their personality, their behaviors in a good way, we need to make use. At least ask father, husband to address these particular things. At least in child size alli he won't be a villain. If not, again villain age bartare. Later on stages alli they normalize, but at least in early stages alli they have that perception about a mother. Again, father only has to help here to normalize ಮತ್ತೆ change this behavior. So we have to come to a common discussion ಮತ್ತೆ conclusion. Okay, address ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಅದೇ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, many times we do not address children. Whenever we punish, whenever we give rewards, we give rewards. Whenever we expect something, we just expect. But explanation, justification, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ children's ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, because we think they are still young ಅಂತ. They do not need, but they are the ones who need more. Okay, so that way we can do. So there is no one thumb rule here in handling children. It's all trial and error method. We have so many other alternatives. End of the day, we need to be educated and creative enough in handling children. If you try something, if this thing is not working, something else we need to be trying. Okay, so those things we can easily do. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. When the child is doing something dangerous like climbing on the sofa or putting hands or legs in between the fence,
Okay.
how do we discourage them?
How to discourage? At least
She wants to explore them, like she wants to play in that, but how do we discourage them?
So child has that interest and the curiosity in everything. I told you, they doesn't know what is danger, what is not danger, what is good, what is bad. It's all the curiosity and the craving to know how it feels. Even with fire, they want to touch and feel. So once they get to know the danger of it, they realize. Next time only they do not repeat. So how to make them understand? We can show some videos. If you keep in hand in between the fence, this is what the thing will happen to you. You can start bleeding. If you start touching the sharp objects, you start bleeding, and this is what the pain you will be experiencing. Okay? So these are the small sort of stimulations which we can give to a child. Videos also we can make them explain. Even if you take a small pin and just poke without making them bleed. So there also we can give a small amount of stimulation based experiences. So once they get some ideas, they understand. They don't want to repeat those particular thing again. So stimulations we need to give.
And in that situation, usually we parents we shout. Like in that instance, we can't control our emotions. Like she will fall down. Out of that, I usually shout a little. So how do we control that?
Adult life, it's complicated. We have so many responsibilities, so many duties. We are answerable to so many people at personal life, family life, work life, professional life, even in social life. End of the day, in between, is so here also we need to have that, some amount of patience, but a little sensitive we need to be having. So whenever we get those scoldings, anger, aggression naturally, for 5 seconds at least if you calm down, in our response only, even if there is 5 seconds delay also, nothing happens. So 5 seconds only we think how we can behave productive agi without affecting negative in a child agi anta. Because ಅದೆಲ್ಲ subconscious mind control ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೋದು, ಸ್ಪಾಂಟೇನಿಯಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರೋದು. ಕಾನ್ಶಿಯಸ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕೆಲಸ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಷ್ಟೆ ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ. If you take things consciously ಅಲ್ಲ, we avoid scolding them, beating them. Immediately we can choose alternative, how we can make the child understand ಅಂತ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಸ್ಕೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಷ್ಟು ಅದೇ again the child will have that negative feeling about yourself. Sometimes scolding also works in a limit agi. Okay, what I mean, we can use this video explanations agirbodu, some pictures we might show, some stories we can say to make the child understand. Okay, yeah. There are any questions here? You have so many references in psychology subjects here. Google ಅಲ್ಲಿ PDFs ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, YouTube ಅಲ್ಲಿ videos ಇದೆ, right? NCERT 11th to 12th standard in the textbooks ಇದೆ. So whenever you get free time, you can just sit and glance. At least along with knowing the child's behavior, adult psychology, no, you can easily get to know. Yeah, techniques or strategies alla, how it works in child alla, even in adults alone, the same way it works. Positive punishment or negative punishment or rewards, all of these things. Okay? Yeah. Any questions, any doubts you have? Yeah.
What is the talking about the negative feeling?
Negative feeling.
You are telling that child can be distracted easily, right?
Distracted.
So distraction and the feelings, both are the emotional activity only, right?
Emotions.
So if you are talking about the negative feelings, what do you mean by negative feelings? Negative feelings is also for the few minutes and the few seconds, right?
Temporary.
If I feed them also to make them understand, right? If they have the negative feelings also, how they can affect that? Because that is only for the 2 minutes. How it will be the long term?
Long term
It is for the child only, right?
Hold.
Or maybe for the adult it's a long term. But for the child, how it is long term?
It is not long term. In later stages only it will be affecting. These are the things which will be stored in child's mind. It's not so easy to replace the memories. So every experiences, whatever the child is having, positive experience, negative experience, ellanu as a episodes it will be storing in child's memory.
So if you remember that one,
it will
in the ancient days, right? In my time, I got so much reading from father, mother, and all those things, right? I don't remember anything. The 2 years, 3 years, what happened to me, I don't. What I am here, only it matters, right? So I don't feel that one. This affected my mind or this affected my anything. So I want to understand that. Whatever you are telling theoretically, right? Is this 100% practically same thing, or it's like we are here to get the theory and that is no method for
practically
the
it is
practical?
important. I'll tell you, right? It's not only theoretical. All of this theory is also based on experience. So many years only this concept is been published. So I think movies also you watch. Hindi movie, I think Shah Rukh Khan's Dear Zindagi movie. Have you watched it?
Which one?
Dear Zindagi.
Dear Zindagi, yes.
Shah Rukh Khan's mate, I think Alia Bhatt's. Have you watched it? So if you haven't watched it, do watch it. So how these particular things will be a childhood trauma, childhood fixations, childhood frustrations. Unless and until it is being keep on suppressing a lot, at end of the stage only the relationship of the child and the parent also will be affected, and even in adult time only it will be coming and bursting out. So end of the day, who is the first point of contact for a child? First point of parents, first point of contact, first point of preference or choice, everything. So that is their primary environment. So how that primary environment has to be there for a child to develop their personality in a productive way, in a constructive way, in a positive way. The relationship has to be good enough. Okay, so in negative feeling, if the child is having more experiences with any particular parent agirbodu, with the both parent agirbodu, the child normalizes, the child will never feel that attachment, that connection, that affection with the parent. So whenever the child is not having that affection, connection with the attachment, in later stages also the same thing only will be developing. Early stages, if the child is having the distance between parent and the child, In primary education, the same distance carries away. Even in high school, the same distance carries away. If you expect a child to change, that again, the child has to be having more positive experiences. Okay. So feelings ನಾವು ನೆಗೆಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ anger, aggression, crying, sadness.
Suppose I am beating, okay, and for 2 minutes for the negative feelings, and then after 5 minutes or 10 minutes when everything comes back,
something.
Give tight hug and all those things, right? So the negative feelings and the positive feelings. So
This
how
can
much
override.
So the positive feelings override or the negative feeling override?
Positive feelings can override.
Okay.
Because you are providing this. Plus we are addressing this. Why I beat you, why I hit you, why I scolded you. That is where we need to address to a child to make them understand. If you do not behave, I do not beat you, I do not scold you, I do not hit you. You only get huggings from me, you only get rewards from me for positive behaviors. So those understanding through addressing, we need to give it. Okay. So naturally it comes. If we have been beaten up by the parents, we understand this is how we correct a child's behavior. So if that thing is not able to take away from you, you do it. Plus address it. Why you are beating it? Why you are scolding that child? Later on, give some rewards, social rewards, activities, just to encourage the child. So that way we can balance. If it is only negative without any addressing, without any rewards, complete negative. Time, if you get enough time, do watch that movie. Childhood trauma bagayala, it has been clearly shown. Okay. Inside out movie kuda ide. Usually I will keep recommending certain things. Inside out movie. It is regarding to emotions itself. Animated movie, 1.5 hours. Okay. Make time to watch it. How emotions works in a child, it's shown in that movie. English animated. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. So my question is continuation of what we see in a larger perspective.
Yeah.
So when a child is traumatized, yeah, basically that is the core concern of parents, teachers, and others. So why this happens? Is it due to a repetitive event happening, like let's say parent is they're not giving anything or kind of more strict in a sense. So when they're having the same actions happening, then the trauma happens, or one event can also have a traumatic effect. And in that case, does the parents, teachers, and otherwise environment should we reassess our pattern, or we should at least break our pattern or change our pattern time to time, so that if in case there is something developing inside the mind which we we don't know, like it may trigger any time.
Yeah.
So will that break that thing?
Yes.
So what's your take on that? Like, how can we understand if the child is?
So to answer first question of yours, whether to have the traumatic experience, is it one event is enough, or there has to be consistency or repetitive events? So one event can also be effective if that event is more intensive. Okay. For example, divorce. For example, separations. For example, every day father is physically abusing wife agirbodu, or some family in-house core disturbances. So those small incidents, it is too much intensively affected in a negative way. So that one incidents also can be helpful. Whereas when the intensity of these negative feelings, negative behaviors, abusive words, abusive punishment, physical abuse, it is at normal level, small level, it has to be repetitive to have that trauma. Consistency just to the chances of being a trauma will be more. If there is inconsistency, then the childhood traumas agirbodu, it will be having not that much effective. Okay, so even as a pattern of parenting, down the line, parent should have that parenthood till the age of teenage period. So once the child starts to grow up, once they step into teenage period, we ask parents to be having parentship. It's a mixture of parenting plus friendship. Okay, so there also the patterns can be, obviously will be changing. How as a parent, as a mother, as a father will be seeing our children with kids. Okay, so if these negative experiences only keep on happening everyday basis, obviously the traumatic experiences also will be keep on increasing. Vice versa, if there are positive experiences, the positive attitude will be developed. Okay, negative experiences only, it keeps on building. What you build, what you give, that is what it just grows. One negative experience every month builds. Three positive experience every month, 3 is a majority there. So positive experiences will be there. Chances of being traumatic will be less. So that is how we can manage and handle. Many a times as an adult, that is what I said, things comes naturally. Okay, so those natural behavior, sometimes we need to give some time. Consciously we need to behave. Consciously we need to scold. Which words we are using to scold a child. The child also might learn the same words to scold their classmates, the school friends, inside school environment. So there is exposure illa. From nowhere the child is learning all of these things. So negative things the child learns, even positive things also the child learns. How a parent manages their own emotions. Whenever the parent is angry, the child sees and observes it and repeats it. As simple as that. Father is being very much frustrated on the workplace. The child doesn't know how much frustrated father is in that. Whenever father enters home, the child is excited to play with the father. Father avoids a child. I'm totally frustrated, I'm in a bad mood today, I'm having hungry. I cannot play with you ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ father phone na sofa ಮೇಲೆ laptop na bed ಮೇಲೆ ಬಿಸಾಕ್ತಾರೆ. The entire behavior in the child observe ಮಾಡುತ್ತಾ? The child observes it. So the child thinks, whenever even I am hungry, I should repeat the same behavior. I should also shout, I should also throw things. At least father knows, throwing smartphone on sofa phone will be safe. Children get gottilla. They take things and throw it on floor. Even things gets damaged, break adaga, again will be scolding kids itself. But from where they have learned another, we never think. Parents has to be good role models. That is what we say. Even in handling their behavior, even in handling their emotions. Okay? If we do not be a good role model, they find some other role models outside. Whatever that role model does, the same thing they get influenced with it, do it. Instead of that, we can ourselves be a good role models to our children. That is what we focus on. Positive psychology, positive parenting. Whenever you get time, just sit and glance. Okay? So you can also just enrich about all of these things. Okay? Yeah. Any other questions, any doubts? Patience?
Aggression.
Aggression, huh?
Yeah, so what should be the age of the child when we can teach them where you have to aggressively react and where you should not have that? So, because sometimes when there is a fight, right, you can't be like this one, right? You have to fight, right?
So today we have so many ways of putting out emotions. So even if an adult is angry, right, about some person, so how you show your emotion of aggression? In what all ways you put out your anger? What all things you do? If you are angry on one particular person, how do you make that person understand that you are angry on them? Always you shout at them, huh?
No, sometimes if I'm going somewhere, okay, somebody hit me, right, I have to fight back that time, right? But that time if your child is looking at you and you are telling that one, namaste sir, I'm going, then child will tell you that one, wow, what you did, right? So, what age, right? I'm asking the age, right? When we have to teach that one, you have to hit hard there, you have to be soft here.
Post 5 or 6 years onwards.
After 5 and 6 years.
After 5 and 6 years onwards. Till then the child learns everything based on observation system. Whatever you see, they do not understand any logic, any justifications, any logical answers. Okay, so post 5-6 years onwards, their cognitive development also supports it. Logically they can understand all of these particular things. Spur of a moment we behave. Okay, at least we can address why did I behave in this particular way and ಆಗ ಅಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ the child understands when I can behave, when should I behave, whom should I behave ಅಂತ. With close people ಅಲ್ಲಿ we don't have to be so much aggressive. So those things we need to do. Yeah. Whenever?
Does it really help a kid? Because when you, does it really develop a character in a kid that, you know, getting adjusted, okay, my parents will hit me again and they love me.
Okay.
Does it really get a habit to them in the future? Because I understand we come from a generation where we also went through hitting, and somehow other way, though we kind of know not remember everything, but psychologically somewhere it is affecting us. That is the reason we are sometimes behaving like that. So is there any other way that we could avoid that?
Through education. Once we know certain things, once you know that this is a bad thing to do, at least we find some other way to do. Once we already know it's a bad thing, that is where we stop and avoid. So through knowing this particular subject, studying about all of these things, the way in which you educate yourself, enrich your knowledge, update yourself, we have so many other ways of dealing with kids today. So during our times, even in school environmentally, we used to get beaten up, even with the teachers, right? Even there used to be sticks, canes, right? But slowly, since the subject is also emerging, still it's a booming. So this is where in educational policies, these things has been recommending. Only not through punishing a child, beating a child, hitting a child, scolding a child, they can correct their behaviors. So we have other psychological techniques as well, which will not disturb the child's personality development, but still can correct those behaviors. Okay, so those things which we need to know. So many times that is what I said. Spur of the moment, automatically it comes. Even if it is coming, we need to address. Athwa convince, athwa make them convince. Self-disclosure, how many of you does? Self-disclosure, like, why did I behave in this way in this situation, to address them. So that is where addressing is important. Once we address them, they also understand why my father behaved like this. So that understanding, addressing also has to be done. Just whenever you free time, just you can glance certain things. Resources you have a number of today online. Yeah.
Hello. So last question is like sometimes like children are very introvert. So which is most of the cases it's fine, means it's a different category in itself. But like few of the time, like the child feels that crying in front of others, many people are is like it's not good. Okay. And they are not that expressive. So
they suppress it.
How can we work on that?
Normalize, because crying is also fine. Right. So many a time as an adult, right? So many things we also suppress. So as the child, right from engaging, whenever this child starts crying in the home environment, what is our first reaction for the child crying? What do we do? We ask the child not to cry. We tend to stop the child, right? So that is where the child also does. Whenever I start crying, I'll be stopped. So better let me suppress it. So this suppressed emotion itself will be turning into a childhood trauma again. All negative emotions which will be suppressed, it will turning into childhood trauma. So how to normalize a child to cry? So even if a child is crying, for how long the child can cry? Whole day the child can cry, half a day the child can cry, no. 1 hour can the child continuously cry? No. Okay, half an hour? No. 5 to 10 minutes? Probably. Yeah. So at least 5 to 10 minutes we should allow the child to cry, express all those things right from the engage itself. ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ 2 years ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಫಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಜಲ್ಲಿ how much ever we do, the child will never stop crying. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ we ourselves surrender to a child's crying. But once the child starts growing ಅಲ್ಲ, we try to distract them. ಆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲೂ just we need to normalize this particular things. Acceptance ಇರೋ ಕಡೆ the child opens up. When there is no acceptance from family environment, school environment, the child better suppresses it. Even if I do this, it is not accepted. So why to do it? I will suppress it. So which is not good thing. Suppression. So these things can be done, encouraged. Okay. So we can also show other kids openly crying through videos. When you have live examples, those things can be shown. As an adult, we cannot cry and show, probably, right? We also suppress and avoid these particular things. Yeah. Anybody? Teachers, any questions? So, on the day, one single day, one single hour, we do not get solutions for all of these things. So we need to have that consistency with the subject matter, with learning, with adapting things also. Down the line, we will also become familiar with everything. Okay? Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. So on behalf of Little Kids Management, Little Kids family, a very big thank you, sir. Let's give a big round of applause to Kedishwar sir for his valuable insights, and I'm sure we all are taking a lot of takeaways today. So thank you so much, sir, once again. And just a small announcement: we've got a birthday boy today amongst us. So I hope we'll all sing happy birthday for Vikrant. Please come. Yes, teachers, let's hit it. Happy birthday.